She held a little black pistol, which she pointed at Kelson. She said, "My dad wants to know what you want."
"Cute," he said. "Is your dad Hugo Nunez?"
"Yes."
Her answer made him grin. "That's great." She wrinkled her lips.
"What's great about it?"
"He didn't strike me as the type to have a daughter." Rodman said, "We want to talk to him about Doreen." She glanced into the room. Behind the radio noise, Nunez must have shaken his head.
"He doesn't know her," the girl said.
"Raba?" Kelson asked.
She looked into the room, said, "Nope," and started to close the door. Rodman jammed a thick hand against it. When she pointed the gun at him, he said,
"Here's the thing. You don't want to shoot me. The cops would come, and who needs that? Even if you managed to do it without the cops, I would bleed out, and with a guy my size, your dad would have Niagara Falls down the stairs, and then he'd have to carry my fat ass down to the street."
The girl smiled, and those dark eyes looked a little crazy.
"We just want to talk," he said.
She said over her shoulder, "They just want to talk." Nunez must have signaled again, because she lowered the pistol and moved from the door. The room had none of the glitz of the bamboleo, none of the flash a man like Nunez seemed to need when he went out in public. He and the two men who beat up Kelson at the dance club sat on unmatched leather office chairs. A TV played silently in one corner. An old boombox rested on top of the TV, tuned to WLUP, where Jimi Hendrix put down his guitar and the DJ promised more classic rock after a message. There were a couple of open cans of beer on a table, an open bottle of mezcal on a desk. When Kelson stepped in, the men gave him vicious smiles. When Rodman stepped in behind him, the men reached into their belts and snatched pistols into their fingers.
"Good afternoon, gentlemen," Nunez said.
"How can I help you?" Kelson stared at Nunez's raging bloodshot eye.
"You could start with a pirate patch."
Nunez's men pointed their guns at Kelson's forehead. So Kelson said,
"We just came from the house of a meth-head whore who—"
Nunez held up two fingers with a kind of aristocratic flair. He could have passed as refined except for his eye and his armed companions.
"Who is your Negro friend?"
Nunez gave Rodman his little-toothed grin. "I grew up in a nice house. We had a Negro maid. She was almost as big as you. I loved that woman." Rodman gave him back a big smile that looked as if it could eat Nunez's little one.
Kelson said, This exotic dancer said the woman who set me up is controlled by a man who sounds a lot like you. Same general look, access to drugs."
Nunez said, "The last time you came to see me, you accused me of setting you up because of Bicho. I thought my boys persuaded you that you were mistaken. Now I force a girl to set you up?"
"You're behind it, you and Doreen."
He looked offended.
"I'm a man of honor and faith, who sells drugs and kills his enemies."
"I'm a businessman. Violence is unnecessary, much of the time." He signaled to the other men, who set down their pistols. "You've made me curious. Who is Doreen?"
"As far as we know, she's a girl from Iowa who got into trouble at home, and so she ran away and got into trouble here. I can't help thinking that trouble involves a little Frito like you." Again the guns came up. Again Nunez signaled them down.
"Once more you are mistaken," Nunez said. "You are rude, disrespectful."
"Disinhibited," Kelson said.
"But," Nunez said, "I'm content telling you this without violence. Having my boys kick the shit out of you again seems unnecessary. You think I'm a bad man, but I've known cops who are worse. Cops who would shoot a 17-year-old boy in an alley. Terrible men."
So Rodman said, "Where are Christian Felbanks' parents?"
Nunez said, "You are a very big man, like my old housekeeper, a rinoceronte."
"A rhinoceros, yes?"
He looked at his men for confirmation. "The little eyes so close together." Rodman kept his voice low and mild.
"Christian Felbanks' parents?"
Nunez smiled. "Doreen?" Christian Felbanks' parents? These are people I don't know.